Hello, my name is Jesan Sorrells, and this is Leadership Lessons from the Great Books podcast trailer introduction. There's no guest today on the podcast. Instead, we're going to talk about what's coming up next on Leadership Lessons from the Great Books. We're going to be parked here for a while. Augustine of Hippo, born 354 AD, died 430 AD, is among the most influential cultural figures of all time. His development of Christian theology during the formative 4th and 5th centuries shaped church teaching for multiple future generations. Ascending to influence as a teacher of rhetoric in Hippo, Rome, and Milan, Augustine initially embraced Manichaean religion and later came under the influence of Neoplatonism. In AD 387, however, his life dramatically changed direction with his conversion to Christianity. After conversion, he returned to his native North Africa, where he was ordained a priest and later made a bishop. As leader of the Church of Hippo, he preached widely and wrote voluminous biblical commentaries and apologetic works, defending Christian faith against its rivals and detractors, along with more personal and pastoral works, such as Confessions. And so what? What relevance could the ideas of a man who died 1,588 years ago, yes, I did the math, have for leaders in our sophisticated, suave, tech-savvy 21st century? After all, hasn't science officially triumphed over belief? Haven't the philosophers, scientists, secularists, and the entire cohort of technical people with technical prowess put to bed the arguments that Augustine had? Isn't paganism just another form of belief, no more or less impactful on the body politic, on the culture, on the world, or on people than whether I believe in Santa or if you believe in Satan? Can't we all just get along? Well, no, we can't. Leaders must grapple with the substrate that underlies their assumptions, expectations, and even their belief systems if they are ever to have a hope of wrestling with the larger vertical buildings constructed unrepentantly on top of that substrate, the buildings of science, progress, and modernity. And there is no author, philosopher, theologian, or writer who sinks his presence deeper into the substrate of the Western philosophy of leadership than St. Augustine of Hippo. St. Thomas Aquinas, no slouch in the deep thinking department himself, said of Augustine about 900 years after his death or so, quote, "The human mind can understand truth only by thinking, as is clear from Augustine," unquote. On this podcast, we think, we wrestle, we ask questions about deep books, and many of those questions are complicated in order to explore the dichotomies that leadership presents us with in our daily lives. If you lead a group of people to do anything, and you live anywhere in the West, or increasingly anywhere else in the world, you're going to be confronted with the problems that Augustine wrestled with. Problems of defining a problem with clarity. Problems of establishing and defending a position against detractors. Problems of building out a rhetorical vision so that followers can be inspired. Problems of grappling with a wider world, even if that world is just your local neighborhood, when it invariably goes off the rails. After all, it's leaders who stand up, speak up, and say stop. Who will read the Augustine? Who will watch the Watchman? Who will build, maintain, and keep the city of God? The book City of God that we are going to be reading here is divided into 32 parts, at least my version is. And the first 2 books are hard slogs, and believe me, not for the faint of heart. But as you read them, you realize that Augustine was attempting to lead people through the written word by battling against the opposing forces of a declining Roman society that still had teeth and was still thrashing about, biting everything. Sound familiar? The arguments against nihilism, relativism, cynical pride, and cultural arrogance are as old as time, and leaders at all levels, from the small and medium-sized business level to the corporate level, need to be reminded of those arguments repeatedly. Otherwise, leaders will have to be retaught the same lesson, and each time, the penalty for failing to learn it will be more and more catastrophic. Quote, "Then the master told his servant, 'Go out to the roads and country lanes and compel them to come in, so that my house will be full.'" Unquote. Compel them to come in. Augustine also had ideas, and you do have to acknowledge this, about leaders in the church, and about how leaders in the church and in the state could combine, could join to use state power to bring the unbeliever, the pagan, and the unrepentant sinner to heel. For their own good, of course. Interestingly enough, the forces of postmodern science and endless rapacious progress have ideas about how the leaders in technology and in culture can combine, can join, can lock arms and hands using cultural and technological power to bring the unbeliever, the differing believer, and the unrepentant, inflexible localist to heel. For their own good, of course. Sound familiar? To wrap your head and heart around City of God will give you grounding as a leader in addressing these ideas, addressing this compulsion to come in, and will give you as a leader the language to identify those who would seek to compel you to come in. Whether that's into the church, into the state, into technology, or into culture, or wherever else the leaders would like you to go as a leader. So, get a cup of coffee, get a comfy chair, and put up your feet. We're going to be parked here for a while. And that's it for me. Follow us on all the places that you follow us. Please subscribe to Leadership Lessons from the Great Books podcast. Please tell your friends. Please like and share. Please also check out the HSCT website for all products and solutions. Please check out the Leading Keys website for products and solutions, our remote training services, our books, our trainings that will help you become a better leader. And watch this space for more information about our upcoming book, 12 Rules for Leaders, a foundational guide to intentional leadership, coming in April 2022. Please also go to JesanSorrells.com for more blogs and more posts about how you can be a better leader, and check out all of our YouTube channels online. Thanks, and have a great rest of your leadership day. Out.